Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Let me begin by thanking Premier Lance, thanking the Council of the Federation for bringing us together for a very productive meeting of First Ministers. Il s'agissait de notre 14e réunion depuis mars dernier et de notre 5e rencontre en personne, à l'heure où le monde est de plus en plus divisé et incertain. Nous choisissons de nous unir. Nous choisissons de bâtir ensemble. We're in Charlottetown, so I will hearken back to Confederation. More than 160 years ago, the Charlottetown Conference laid the foundation of this country. Many advantages. We look back, though, as well. We recognize that that founding was imperfect. It excluded too many, but it laid the stones on which we can build. And in generations since, Canadians have improved upon it, extending the promise of this country to those it once left out and to those whom we have welcomed to our shores. And we have defended it through crises and tests. We're faced tests today. As everyone knows, on Monday, the U.S. administration announced its intention to impose the latest in a series of unilateral and unwarranted trade actions. Let's be clear about how Canada is responding. Yes, we are intensifying our negotiations with the United States in pursuit of a comprehensive agreement that addresses all tariff-related sectors. In all circumstances, irrespective of the outcome of those negotiations, Canada will do whatever it takes to build our strength at home and to support Canadian families, workers, our farmers, our businesses. We're ready. We're ready because we have been focusing on what we can control. And that's building our strength at home, buying Canadian, backing Canadian workers, building Canadians. That's the resolve of Canadians. That's the foundation on which we're building. We're a reliable partner in a world that's anything but. So we're diversifying our partnerships abroad. The First Ministers at this table have been central to that effort. Provincial premiers have led more than 50 trade missions since we last met in person in January, and over 130 since I became Prime Minister. Our government, the federal government, has signed more than 20 new economic and security partnerships because Canada has what the world wants, and Canada believes in the benefits of free and fair trade. We're also ready because of what we know in our bones, that our unity is our greatest strength and our destiny is in our hands. C'est dans cet esprit que nous sommes réunis aujourd'hui. Nous prenons des mesures pour que notre réseau énergétique soit plus abordable, plus concurrentiel et plus sécuritaire. Nous accélérons les grands projets qui vont transformer notre économie pendant des générations. Nous éliminons les obstacles à la mobilité de la main-d'œuvre et au commerce intérieur. Et nous allons continuer d'agir ensemble avec détermination et avec force pour protéger les travailleurs et les familles du Canada et faire avancer nos intérêts nationaux. Now, we spent a fair bit of time today, in addition to talking about trade, to discussing an electricity strategy. Par exemple, l'objectif de la stratégie nationale d'électrification est de doubler la capacité de notre réseau et de fournir une énergie propre, fiable et abordable dans toutes les régions du pays. Lower energy costs, greater energy security, fewer emissions, building a strong connected grid is how we will achieve all of those objectives at once. And there's already examples. This morning, our government announced an investment in a new subsea power cables across the Northumberland Strait between New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Thank Premiers Lance and Holt for their leadership on that. This is the kind of project that's been needed for years. It's the kind of project we need to build up more and more quickly. In addition, today, Premiers Holt, Houston, and Lance signed an agreement to plan and operate their electricity systems together, and the federal government will support that work, increasing reliability, lowering costs, increasing competitiveness for maritimers. Now, becoming an energy superpower, delivering those benefits for Canadians means more than just a connected grid. It means getting big things built in every part of the country. The agreements between the federal government and the government of British Columbia, the agreement with the government of Alberta, clear the path for major projects in both provinces, projects in clean and conventional energy, in transportation, critical minerals, projects that by themselves, just by themselves in these two agreements, will catalyze well over $200 billion in direct investments in Canada, creating almost 200,000 new jobs right across the country. Benefits shared wisely, benefits shared with the Indigenous peoples as full partners, and creating resources for the social programs on which Canadians rely. All of these examples, and they're examples of a bigger picture of cooperative federalism at work, and we are just getting started. Et maintenant, pour rester concurrentiel, nous devons nous assurer que les bases sont solides. Le Canada doit stimuler les investissements tant dans le secteur de l'énergie propre que dans celui de l'énergie conventionnelle. Nos marchés de carbone doivent aussi être conçus pour attirer des investissements, réduire les émissions au fil du temps et maintenir la compétitivité de nos industries à l'échelle internationale. Et notre gouvernement va travailler avec les provinces et les territoires pour mettre à jour un modèle de tarification du carbone. We also are acting to take down barriers that we've built that exist within this economy. Today, we agreed to work towards agreement in principle, to adopt model mutual recognition, to build one Canadian market, to let Canadians work wherever their skills are needed, drawing on the best advantages of provincial legislation. The Committee on Internal Trade will begin that work this summer. If we get this right, a nurse licensed in Ontario who moves to Nova Scotia will be able to start caring for patients right away. A manufacturer in BC who's already approved to sell engineered wood for homes in Alberta will be able to sell it anywhere in Canada instead of waiting years for that. It's workers and goods moving freely, growing our prosperity. Final point. As First Ministers, we share a fundamental responsibility, which is to keep Canadians safe. And Premier Ford, when you hosted us last year in Muskoka, we had a robust discussion, a series of reforms that were needed to the criminal code, measures to improve community safety. So we've strengthened the criminal code at the federal level, passed 6 laws to combat crime, give law enforcement the tools they need, toughen bail, toughen sentencing. And today, we endorsed a practical joint action plan to continue to make communities safer, building on the progress we've made over the last year. To conclude, we came to Charlottetown as First Ministers with a shared purpose, which is to build a stronger, more prosperous, more independent, more resilient, and united Canada. In a moment when others would choose to divide, we choose to build. This is the Federation working as it should. This is why Canada is ready. We'll continue meeting, keep delivering until the job is done to build Canada strong. Thank you very much, and I'm going to pass to the Chair of the Council of Federation and our host, Premier Lance.
Thank you, Prime Minister. And we are indeed at a pivotal moment in the history of Canada. And over the past 3 days, we've had important conversations about the future of Canada. More than ever, we need to have a united Team Canada approach. Canadians are looking to us for guidance. They want us to look after the best interests of this country, its economy, its sovereignty, and without losing sight of what it means to be Canadian. So with that in mind, today's discussion is about strengthening our economy, improving affordability, building a more secure energy future, supporting health care, can be seen in a new and more important light. Everyone around this table has the same goal, making our respective jurisdictions stronger. Canada is at its best when provinces and territories and the federal government work together. That's exactly what we did here today. As the chair of the Council of the Federation, I've had the privilege of working alongside a strong group of premiers who are committed to the people that they represent. And I've seen how much can be accomplished when we work together. Removing internal trade barriers has been something talked about by politicians for years. It shouldn't be more difficult to do trade between our provinces than it is to do trade between countries. So, in the last 18 months, we've made significant progress. Provinces and territories have introduced legislation that will make it easier to do business across the country. Just last year, PEI passed our Interprovincial Trade and Labour Mobility Act, which removed barriers to trading goods and services, and that's based on a model of mutual recognition. And today we had discussions about expanding that model of mutual recognition more consistently across the country to improve on the work that we've already done. This week, we made significant progress. The direct-to-consumer MOU signed this week. It'll represent big changes for all Canadians and for beverage producers. Serving as the chair has been an opportunity to ensure that Prince Edward Island's voice helped shape a national conversation. Every time Canada's premiers gather, my job is to make sure that PEI isn't just represented, but it's heard. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues facing not only our province, but the entire country. And we had a serious conversation about that today. And I want to thank the Prime Minister for this morning's announcement for funding the pre-development work for our new subsea cables connecting us to the mainland. This was one of my top priorities as Premier. So I'm very, very happy to have this underway with the support of the Prime Minister and the federal government. I also had the pleasure of signing an MOU this morning with Premiers Houston and Premier Holt to work collaboratively on a regional approach to electricity. And I said around the table, I believe this is perhaps unprecedented, this type of regional collaboration on energy issues. And I look forward to that work. So that's progress. That's real action, and I'm happy about that. And now just a few words about having the privilege of hosting the premiers and the Prime Minister over the last few days here in Charlottetown. Hosting the Council of the Federation and today's First Minister's meeting, it's been an opportunity to show my colleagues from across the country what makes Prince Edward Island such a special place. Over the past few days, you've had the chance to experience our world-renowned hospitality, and one of our greatest strengths, our food industry. We had a good taste of that last night. And Prince Edward Island may be Canada's smallest province, but our farmers, fishers, our growers, our food producers, chefs, they're second to none. And we're very proud of them. The quality of the work that they produce, the pride they take in their work, and the care they put into every product have earned this province a reputation that reaches well beyond our shores. So, to everyone who helped share the very best of Prince Edward Island this week, thank you. Thank you very much. You represented our province exceptionally well. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the organizers. I have staff that have been working on this for months. I know that nerves are frayed and we're all tired. We're glad to get to the end of these last few days here. And I want to thank the police, various police services that are here and security services that have made this manageable and safe and very functional for us. The Delta Hotel, all of the staff and organizers. This has been a spectacular event. I've heard that from everyone. It's been enjoyable. It's been productive. Everything we want it to be. And finally, it's my pleasure to pass the chair of the Council of the Federation to the Premier of the Northwest Territories, Premier R.J. Simpson. I look forward to working with you. Where's RJ? Which end of the table is he at? There you are. Congratulations. I'm happy to hand the torch to you, and I look forward to seeing you next year. Great. Thank you.
Prendre les questions, s'il vous plaît, vous identifiez à qui la question s'adresse. Please identify yourself and who the question is for. First question, Kate.
Kate McKenna, CBC News. This is a question for the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, I'm wondering how you see this window of time of trade talks given the new 30-day deadline. Do you think that this is a meaningful opportunity to approach some sort of endgame with the United States, or is it just another pressure tactic from the Trump administration?
It's both. I mean, that's the direct answer. We've seen a series of trade negotiations that the U.S. has undertaken, and normally there's a deadline. Normally there's an outsized tariff associated with that deadline. First observation. The second thing is that I would say that in our interactions this week with various levels of the U.S. administration, mine with the President, Minister LeBlanc, with his counterpart, Madame Charette, with hers, other officials, that there's a level of engagement and a breadth of engagement that reflects the seriousness of the trade relationship and the breadth of the issues. So it creates an opportunity. Now, and I'm going to hand back to you, Kate, but I'll just say that First Ministers, Premiers, and myself, we've had a series of conversations on this, on what it means, what our priorities are, where we go from here. And I will say, give you two observations from that. One, we all recognize that the most important thing we can do is to continue to build this economy strong and unite this economy. That's job one. That immediate benefits for Canadians, and that is what we can control. And the second is to be united with respect to our strategy, our negotiating strategy, and our objectives. And part of that unity is recognizing that there isn't a series of little trade issues, they're broad trade issues. All of them have to be part of a comprehensive